Marcus Rashford and Bruno Guimarães to Arsenal. The £165 million summer earthquake begins. Breaking Arsenal news. Gunners, this could be one of the biggest transfer stories of the summer. Arsenal have been linked with two sensational Premier League stars in a potential double transfer move that could completely transform Mikel Arteta's squad. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive straight into today's massive Arsenal news. Come on, you Gunners, imagine this. A world-class attacker arriving from Manchester United, a dominant midfielder arriving from Newcastle United, two proven Premier League stars, two players capable of changing big matches, and a combined transfer value that could rise towards £160 million or more. The names causing huge excitement among Arsenal supporters are Marcus Rashford and Bruno Guimarães. But are Arsenal really preparing one of the most ambitious transfer windows in their history? Could the Emirates Stadium become the new home for two of the Premier League's biggest names? Let's break down this massive Arsenal transfer story. Arsenal's summer message. No more waiting for several seasons. Arsenal have been building something special under Mikel Arteta. The club moved from rebuilding to challenging, and now they are entering a new stage. A stage where the expectation is simple: win trophies. Arsenal have already developed an incredible young squad. Players like Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard have helped Arsenal become one of England's strongest teams, but at the highest level. Small differences decide everything. One moment, one piece of individual brilliance, one superstar who can change a game, and that is why Arsenal continue to look for elite additions. The club understands that competing with Manchester City, Liverpool and Europe's biggest teams requires more than talent. It requires quality depth, it requires experience, and it requires players who can perform under pressure. Marcus Rashford, the shock attacking target. The first name creating huge headlines is Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford. Rashford is a player Arsenal fans know very well. A player who has produced unforgettable moments in English football. When he is confident, he is one of the most dangerous attackers in the Premier League. His biggest weapons are obvious: explosive speed, powerful finishing, ability to attack defenders, experience in big matches. Reports have credited Arsenal with an interest in the England international, with some suggestions that the club could consider a huge offer around the £100 million mark. A £100 million move would be a statement. It would show Arsenal are not just looking for potential, they are looking for proven quality. Why Rashford could interest Arteta. Mikel Arteta has built Arsenal around intelligent attacking football. The team dominates possession, they create chances, they control matches, but sometimes against defensive opponents, Arsenal need something different. They need a player who can create danger instantly, a player who can receive the ball and attack space, a player who can turn one opportunity into a goal. That is where Rashford's qualities become interesting. Picture this: Bukayo Saka attacking from one side, Marcus Rashford attacking from the other, Martin Odegaard creating chances behind them, a new striker leading the line. That would give Arsenal one of the most frightening attacking options in Europe. But there is a huge obstacle. However, Gunners, this story is not simple. The biggest question is not only whether Arsenal can afford Rashford. The question is, would Marcus Rashford leave Manchester United? Rashford has spent his entire professional career at Old Trafford, and he came through the Manchester United Academy. He became one of the club's biggest stars. Leaving United would be a massive personal decision. Reports have suggested Rashford's preference is to remain at Manchester United, so Arsenal would face a major challenge. Convince Manchester United, convince Rashford, and convince everyone that the Emirates is the perfect next step. End of part 1. In part 2, why Bruno Guimarães could become Arsenal's midfield game changer. Arsenal's reported £55 million to £65 million bids for the Newcastle star. How a Rice-Bruno Ødegaard midfield could dominate England and Europe. Could Arsenal really complete a £165 million double transfer? Arsenal double transfer. Bombshell part 2. Bruno Guimarães to Arsenal, the midfield. Move that could change everything. Welcome back, Gunners. In part 1, we discussed the shocking reports linking Arsenal with a potential move for Manchester United superstar Marcus Rashford. A transfer that would send shockwaves through English football. A transfer that would show Arsenal are ready to compete with Europe's biggest clubs. But now we move to the second name involved in this incredible double transfer story, and this player could completely transform Arsenal's midfield. His name, Bruno Guimarães. Bruno Guimarães, Arsenal's midfield dream target. Gunners. For years, Arsenal have searched for players who can control the biggest matches, players who can handle pressure, players who can fight against the best midfielders in the Premier League. And Bruno Guimarães has proven that he belongs at the highest level. Since arriving in England, the Brazilian midfielder has become one of Newcastle United's most important players. He is not just a midfielder, he is a leader, a fighter, a player who gives everything on the pitch. And reports suggest Arsenal have shown concrete interest in bringing him to the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal's reported bids for Bruno. According to reports, Arsenal have explored a move with bids believed to be around £55 million to £65 million. However, Newcastle United have rejected those approaches because they consider Bruno one of their most valuable assets. And it is easy to understand why. Newcastle see Bruno as a central part of their future. He represents their ambition. He represents their rise back towards competing with England's elite clubs. Selling him would not be an easy decision. Why Arteta loves players like Bruno Mikel. Arteta's football demands intelligence. The Arsenal manager wants midfielders who can do everything. They must be comfortable with the ball. They must press aggressively. They must recover possession. They must understand positioning. Bruno Guimarães fits that profile perfectly. He has the technical ability to play under pressure. He has the physical strength to compete in Premier League battles. And he has the mentality required for a team chasing trophies. The dream? Midfield? Rice, Bruno and Ødegaard. Now imagine this Arsenal midfield. Declan Rice, Bruno Guimarães, Martin Ødegaard. A midfield combination that could scare opponents across England and Europe. Declan Rice provides defensive protection, physical dominance, ball recovery. Bruno provides creativity, aggression, passing ability. Ødegaard provides vision, leadership, final third quality. Together, they could give Arsenal everything needed to dominate matches. Bruno's biggest qualities. What makes Bruno such a special midfielder? First, one, his mentality. Bruno plays with passion. He fights for every ball. He does not disappear when the pressure increases. Big games require big personalities. Bruno has that. Two, his technical quality. In modern football, midfielders must think quickly. One touch, two touches. Decision-making under pressure. Bruno has the ability to receive the ball and create solutions. 3. His attacking contribution. Although he is known as a midfielder, Bruno can influence the game near the opposition box. He can score, he can assist, he can create chances. That versatility makes him extremely valuable. Why Arsenal want another elite midfielder? Some fans may ask, why would Arsenal spend big money on another midfielder after signing Declan Rice? The answer is simple. Because Arsenal want squad depth at the highest level. Manchester City have multiple world-class options. Real Madrid have multiple world-class options. Liverpool have invested heavily in their midfield. To compete for every trophy, Arsenal need quality everywhere. A season can be decided by injuries, rotation and important moments. Adding Bruno would give Arteta another superstar option. To go? The double transfer dream. Now combine the two stories, Marcus Rashford, Bruno Guimarães, two Premier League stars, two positions Arsenal want to strengthen, a potential investment of more than £150 million. This would not just be a transfer window, it would be a statement. A statement that Arsenal are ready to challenge anyone. Final thoughts before part 3. Gunners, imagine walking into the new season with Bukayo Saka, Marcus Rashford, Bruno Guimarães, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes. That is a squad built to compete for trophies. But can Arsenal really complete these two blockbuster deals? Can they convince Manchester United to sell Rashford? Can they break Newcastle's resistance for Bruno? And what would this mean for Arsenal's Premier League title chances? We continue in part 3. Part 3. Coming next. The £165 million Arsenal transfer master plan explained how Rashford and Bruno would change Arteta's tactics. Possible Arsenal lineup with both signings. Final verdict, dream deal or impossible mission. The £165 million master plan, how Rashford and Bruno Guimarães could transform Arsenal. Welcome back, Gunners. This is the final part of our huge Arsenal transfer breakdown. We have already discussed the two names creating massive headlines, Marcus Rashford from Manchester United and Bruno Guimarães from Newcastle United. Two players, two Premier League superstars, two potential signings that could completely change the direction of Arsenal Football Club. But now the biggest question arrives. What would happen if Arsenal actually completed both deals? Could this be the transfer window that finally takes Arsenal from challengers to champions? Let's discuss Arsenal's possible £165 million statement of intent, Gunners. If Arsenal were able to complete moves for both players, the financial commitment would be enormous. A possible £100 million investment for Marcus Rashford. A potential £60 million plus deal for Bruno Guimarães. That takes the total close to £165 million. For many clubs, that type of spending would be impossible. But Arsenal are now operating at a different level. The club has rebuilt its financial position. Champions League football has increased revenue. The squad has grown in value and the ambition has changed. Arsenal are no longer just trying to return to the top. They are trying to stay there. How Rashford would change Arsenal's attack? Let's start with Marcus Rashford. If Arsenal signed Rashford, Arteta would gain a completely different attacking weapon. Arsenal already have technical players. They can control possession. They can create chances. But Rashford brings something unique. Direct attacking power. When opponents push high, Rashford can destroy defensive lines with his pace. When teams defend deep, he can create chances through individual quality. When Arsenal need a goal in a huge match, Rashford has experience delivering those moments. But possible Arsenal attack? Imagine this attacking setup. Left wing, Marcus Rashford. Right wing, Bukayo Saka. Number 10, Martin Odegaard striker. Arsenal's new number 9. That attack would give opponents a nightmare. Saka's creativity, Rashford's explosiveness, Odegaard's vision. A powerful striker finishing chances. It would provide Arsenal with different ways to win games. How Bruno would change the midfield. Now let's talk about Bruno Guimarães. Adding Bruno would give Arsenal another elite midfielder capable of controlling matches. Arsenal currently have quality, but the biggest clubs need competition everywhere. A midfield containing Declan Rice, Bruno Guimarães, Martin Odegaard would have everything. Physical strength, technical quality, leadership, creativity, defensive security. Arteta's tactical options. One of the biggest advantages of signing players like Rashford and Bruno is tactical flexibility. Against weaker opponents, Arsenal could dominate possession and attack constantly. Against elite teams, Arsenal could become more dangerous in transition. Rashford's speed would provide a counter-attacking threat. Bruno's intelligence would help control midfield battles. Arteta would have more solutions. Would this make Arsenal title favourites? This is the question every Arsenal fan wants answered. Would these two signings guarantee trophies? No transfer guarantees success. Football does not work like that. But would they improve Arsenal? Absolutely. Elite players increase your chances. They help during difficult moments. They win points when matches are tight. The Premier League is decided by small margins, one extra goal, one extra assist, one extra defensive action. World-class players create those moments. The biggest challenges. However, Gunners, there are still major obstacles. 1. Manchester United's decision. Would Manchester United sell Marcus Rashford to a direct Premier League rival? That is a huge question. United would need to decide whether a massive offer is too good to reject. 2. Rashford's choice. Even if Arsenal make an offer, the player must agree. His connection with Manchester United is strong. 3. Newcastle's resistance. Bruno Guimarães is one of Newcastle's most important players. They will not allow him to leave easily. Arsenal may need to make a huge offer. The dream Arsenal lineup. If both transfers happened, Arsenal could have a terrifying squad. Attack: Marcus Rashford, Bukayo, Saka elite striker option. Midfield: Declan Rice, Bruno Guimarães, Martin Odegaard. Defence: William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Jurriën, Timber, Ben White. Goalkeeper: David Raya. This would be a squad capable of fighting on multiple fronts. Final verdict: dream or real possibility? So, Gunners, are Marcus Rashford and Bruno Guimarães realistic Arsenal targets, or is this simply a dream transfer scenario? The reality is, Arsenal are clearly looking for elite additions. The club has reached a level where signing big names is possible, but completing both deals would require incredible negotiation, huge financial commitment, and the players wanting the move? One thing is certain: the ambition at Arsenal has changed. The club is no longer satisfied with competing, they want trophies. And if Arsenal manage to bring in players of the quality of Rashford and Bruno, the message to England and Europe would be clear. Arsenal are ready to fight for everything. Gunners, what do you think? Would you spend £165 million on Marcus Rashford and Bruno Guimarães? Who would you rather sign first, Rashford or Bruno? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to Arsenal Daily Talk for more breaking Arsenal transfer news, rumours and updates. Come on, you Gunners!